Hello and welcome to Skybox on EDTV Channel 20 Sports. This is Maria Marino. Today we'll hear from SCCC's head baseball and softball coaches about their team's upcoming seasons. But first, men's basketball head coach Randy Jackson reflects on this past season for the Skylanders.
It was a little disappointing. I think we underachieved as far as basketball goes, but some things that I'm really proud of. We had a good academic year. We had 4 kids qualify for the Breakfast of Champions and Academic All-Region Award, so that's something that I'm very proud of. But in the basketball sense, I think we could have done a lot better than we did. Our strengths were definitely our hard work and our hustle. We were one of the scrappier teams in the league. Our weakness was rebounding. It hurt us in a lot of games, especially early in the year. We had some games against some really good teams that we had a chance to win, but not being able to close out possessions with defensive rebounds really cost us a lot of wins. Our biggest win was probably the home game against Gloucester. They're, I think, the 3rd or 4th best team in the region record-wise, and I thought that was a win that was going to get us some momentum and lead to more wins. Unfortunately, it didn't. Our biggest loss was probably the home game against Raritan. It wasn't a region game, but it was early in the year, and I think after losing that game, we started to have a mentality that we were going to find ways to lose games, and it kind of snowballed. We started the season off, I think we had 17 day one. By the time the first day of practice came around, we were down to 12, and then people just started falling off left and right. Some of it was grades. Femi transferred, which we knew about going into the year, but it's a problem at this level. It wasn't just us. We had our last game, we played a team with 5 guys. Game before that, the team had 8. It's junior college basketball. It's something that we expect going in, and you just kind of have to deal with. We have 4 freshmen, Ray Maldonado, who finished the year off really strong and really established himself in this league. Seth Cott, who was our starting center as a freshman, and Hobie back. Really hard-working kid, so I look forward to working out with him all summer. Jake Boylan and Josh Baston are both freshmen who should be coming back, and again, they're both really hard-working kids, so hopefully there'll be a lot of improvement from them going into next season. This off season, we're actually going to be heading up to Blair Academy a lot and working out with the high school team up there. And Coach Montagna has a really strong, solid program with a lot of Division I, Division II college basketball players. So that's something that's going to be really great for the guys. We're going to go up there probably 2-3 times a week and just work out on individual stuff, get a lot of running in, open gyms, that kind of stuff. And it's something that should really help these guys improve a lot. If somebody would have told me when I was leaving that I would end up back here as a coach, I just would have laughed it off and said that there's no way. As an assistant last year, it was frustrating, but not to this level. Just because all the pressure is not on you as an assistant. It's just it was really frustrating to see the talent and see the potential and not be able to get everything that I thought we should have got out of it. One of the biggest things at this level is you got to help the guys mature as men, because a lot of the kids that end up at a junior college is because of immaturity or poor grades. So that's my main focus. Obviously, I'm a basketball coach, and wins and losses is what matters, but I really want to make sure that these guys are getting an education and moving on and preparing themselves for the real world. Academically, we had Joshua Baston, Seth Cott, Jake Boylan, and Kyle Kilty all qualify for Breakfast of Champions and were academic all-region. Seth and Josh both have a strong chance of being academic All-Americans, which is really difficult to do. So that's something that I'm hoping that they can pull off. Basketball-wise, Kyle Kilty became the school's all-time leading three-point shooter. He had finished his career with 110 makes, which is really impressive, especially for him. He's a great kid, really works hard, didn't play too much in high school. Last year, hardly saw the court, maybe 5 minutes a game, so I'm really proud of him for that, and I look forward to seeing how he does when he moves on to the 4-year school. And also, Dominic Essen made second team All-Region, largely because of our record. I think he was hands down one of the top 5 players in the region. He missed some games because of injury, and that hurt him, but he's a really talented kid, and it's well-deserved, and I'm really proud of him for that. Kyle and Terrell Morsims are both looking into Salisbury down in Maryland, and they have a few other schools they're looking at, but that's their main choice. They're actually going out to see them play on Saturday and meet the coach. Quadir Leary, he's unsure whether he wants to play or not. I really hope he does, because he's a real tough kid, and he could definitely help a good team out. And then Dominic, he can play the Division II level. It's just a matter of finding the right fit, and he's someone that I know will catch on somewhere and be an important part of a good team. But I think we had more of a basketball team. That's something that you see in the Sussex County area versus the inner city teams. We have shooters, traditional big guys with Seth and Jake and traditional point guards, where the other teams were just throwing out athletes at us. And that's one of the reasons rebounding hurt us so much, because other teams just had 5 or 6 guys that could jump out the gym, and we didn't have anybody like that. So, but as far as us comparing us to the other teams, obviously we weren't one of the better teams because of our record, but I feel like we had a good team, good chemistry, and we just weren't able to put it all together. Game to game, it really changed based on matchups, but we were a team that shot a lot of three-pointers, and that wasn't necessarily by design. It was just teams kind of overcompensated with Seth, and it led to us getting open looks. I think we shot it a little too much. We lived by it a little too much, and it hurt us at times. But we have a lot of guys that can attack the basket, and that's something that we needed to do a little more. Defensively, we were a poor defensive team for most of the year, and really that's just there's no excuse for that because we have really good on-the-ball defenders, and a lot of times a lot of our losses were because we couldn't get stops. But I'm a man-to-man defensive coach, and I like to take pride in being able to stop the other team one-on-one, and it's something that we weren't able to do for the most part. I told the guys after our last game that I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to have as my first team, and one of my biggest concerns was how do you get 18, 19-year-old kids to leave all on the floor for you, and that was never a question with these guys, and I really thank them for that.
Now that spring is here, we move outdoors to baseball and softball. We'll take a look at those teams right after this.
Every 7 minutes, a child is bullied.
77% of students are bullied mentally, verbally, and physically.
Bullying exists online, in schools, and on the bus.
Bullying is the main cause of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Teenagers say revenge is the strongest motivation for school shootings.
Every day, 160,000 kids miss school for the fear of bullying.
I found Sussex County Community College. It was affordable. It's 5 minutes away from my house, and it has a nice small environment.
I was involved in the biology club and the theater program and found the faculty and staff really supportive.
And I think that when you come from the high school environment, it really focuses you and really prepares you for a 4-year college.
And it also provided me the chance to still work while being a student.
Start here, go anywhere!
All of this actually happened to me. Went to a party last year, had a beer, maybe 2. I left. I knew I could drive, at least I felt comfortable enough to, but what I didn't know was that my taillight was out. And once I got pulled over, the officer automatically smelled alcohol in my breath and took me down to the station. I blew a .2 and lost all my freedom and money from that point on. It's not worth it. A good time, just stay where you are.
Welcome back to Skybox. Now head baseball coach Todd Poltersdorf will share his outlook on the season ahead.
Well, we're excited. We got a good group of sophomores this year, and we have 2 transfers that I think will play a big role for us this year. The first is Dave Jacob from Monmouth University, who's a Vernon High School product. He'll play right field for us. We're excited. He's a Division I transfer. He's got great skills. He's a 5-tool player. The other transfer is from Indian Rivers Community College down in Florida. He's from Naples, Florida. It's Danny Youngsman. He's a right-hand pitcher for us. Commands the ball exceptionally well. We're excited. We haven't had an arm like this in the system in quite some time. And then some guys that have been around. We have Timmy O'Shea, who's an outfielder for us, center fielder, also on the mound for us from Jefferson. We expect some big things from him. Matt Sherlock, he's our left fielder from Walk Hill Valley. Possesses probably one of the better hitters we have in our lineup. Probably hit leadoff for us right now, either in the leadoff spot or in a 2-hole. Those are some of my sophomores. And then the big surprise so far has been Billy Miller, our sophomore second baseman. He has been great in preseason camp. He had a great fall for us. So I'm really excited to see what he can do this year for us at second base. And then to close it off, we have Miguel Castano, who is a draftable kid, our shortstop from Miami, Florida. Miguel him and David possess a lot of tools that are equal. They're 5-tool players. They can do a lot. So it's exciting to see that. Yeah, as we all know, baseball in the Northeast, it's tough to try to get a home game before late March. So what we've done over the last couple of years is we go away for a long weekend, the first weekend in March. We play some games down in the Maryland area this year. We have Dundalk, Essex, and in Catonsville, 3 good programs, so we're excited to see that. And then on the March 9th, we'll travel to to St. Petersburg, Tampa area in Florida, and we'll be there for 9 days. We play 10 games, mostly schools from the Midwest, Division II, Division III schools. We play one Division I community college from the Midwest. So it's a great opportunity for us to see what we have, and obviously the weather, that's the big part. We'll be playing in 75 to 80 degree weather, so we look forward to it. We've been fortunate to get out there a couple days, and now that the weather's starting to turn nice, well, hopefully we'll get out there a little bit more so we can catch up. The biggest thing is we're just arm-wise. We're not where we need to be because we don't have the opportunity to long toss every day. So it usually takes us about 2 weeks once the season gets rolling, so we're where we need to be as far as arm strength is concerned, because you really can't make up for that being in a gym. It's been a long time, 18 years now, and it really goes to all the players who've played for me in the past. You know, this is something that we've built here. We're closing in on a milestone. It's a nice opportunity for our kids. You know, it's something that I've been looking forward to for probably about the last year. 300 wins, it's a lot. You know, it's a lot of wins. And again, it really goes to the kids who've come through our program and who've come through Sussex County Community College. And I tell people all the time, I'm more proud of the fact that, you know, I have 13 former players who are head coaches at the high school level. I have cops, I have doctors, I have lawyers. They're all out there, you know, and that's really what I'm proud of more than the W's and the L's, is what these kids have accomplished, you know, once their playing career has been done here. Well, that's the toughest thing being a community college coach. You have them for 2 years. Sometimes you might have them for 3 if they're academically or maybe they get an injury while they're here. But for the most part, about 95% of our players are here for 2 years. And it's sad to see them go, but also it's a great satisfaction to see them come in, work, and develop. You know, take those freshmen, you know, that might have a couple flaws. And you know, I have a great staff led by Rick Roeder, Mike DeBosch, and Ramadan Mehmedi. So those guys have really done an outstanding job for me in building my program and helping our players progress. And, you know, 2 years, it's tough. You know, it's tough to say goodbye to them, but to see them play at the next level. I got a phone call today from Bobby Guild, who is at Lock Haven University. They play tonight at 6 o'clock, his first game at a Division II level, 4-year school. So that's really what it's nice to see. We don't over-recruit here. I'm not going to bring in 30 shortstops to fill one void. We really look at athlete. We try to find kids who are athletic, who we know, you know, usually those are the high school shortstops, you know. If we can find athletic kids, not to say we're not going to go after other position players, but we try to see what kind of athlete they are first. Can they play at this level? Do they have the skills to play? It's a big jump from high school to college level ball, and especially to the level we play at. So, you know, we want to see what kind of athlete they are, and then really, it really is going to determine what kind of kid they are. You know, it's hard to tell what kind of work ethic they have, but how do they treat their teammates when they're on the field, and, you know, how do they act when they're in the dugout? And we try to see all that stuff, you know, and that goes into the building process. It's really a three-way goal here. You got obviously your academic side of thing, you got your athletic side of things, and then you have your work side of things. I mean, we have a lot of guys who have to work 40 hours a week. So try to juggle 40 hours worth a week, enormous amount of schoolwork, and the time to put in for baseball. There's a lot to juggle. So we try to make it right from the go, from their freshman year, their first semester on campus. We try to make it very well aware of them how important their academics are. You know, that's why they're here. They're here to get an education, you know. And those who do, then that makes that transition to the baseball side of it. And then from the baseball side, they learn to juggle family, girlfriend, work, all that other good stuff. So really it's time management. And I think that's a big key, and I think that's why athletes are successful out in the business world in leadership responsibilities, because they can manage and they can juggle and they know how to work as a team. So it's something that we've built in our program, and I think our kids do a good job at it. Well, the Garden State Athletic Conference is an extremely difficult conference. There's a lot of good teams here in our conference, you know, led by Burlington and Mercer. Those really are the two front runners of our conference. And then you add our region on top of it, which is 2 more teams, which is Del Tech and Lackawanna. And Lackawanna has been nationally ranked in the last couple of years. At one point, I think they were as high as number 4. That's really where our main competition comes from. They've kind of replaced Brookdale with us and kind of become our little rival. Coach Penzek does an outstanding job of getting those guys ready to play every year, and that's what we're trying to aspire to do, to become what they are. So those are some of the teams that we play, and I would say Lackawanna is probably our biggest goal for this year. We have what we call a region tournament, and then from the region tournament, if you win that, then you go to what we call a district, and that's 2 teams playing go head-to-head, best out of 3. And then if you win your district, you go to the World Series, the National Championship. Bosch does an outstanding job. We're real fortunate to have him as our pitching coach. And I give guys a lot of freedom to do what they want to do. But what we're really looking for is command of the fastball, at any level. If you can command a fastball, you can be successful at any level. From there, we look at what kind of breaking ball or what kind of off-speed pitch they throw. And to be a starting pitcher at our level, you need to throw 3 pitches on a consistent basis. Not have to command all 3, but be able to throw 3. Be successful, you need to be at least to be able to command 2 of those pitches. So Mike does a great job of getting our guys ready to go and making them understand how important it is to have to be able to command both sides of the plate, up and down, in and out. So we're real fortunate to have some quality arms in our rotation this year, so we're excited. We have a philosophy, and it's been my philosophy ever since I started coaching. If it's work and it's working for that player at that time, there's no change needed. As a coach, you have to adapt to what their type of style is. Then there comes those times where a student athlete hits rock bottom and they're just not getting what they need to get accomplished. That's when you got to step in and start to suggest some changes. And fundamentally, this is the way you need to do it. This is the way it should be done. Let's try to get ourselves on that track to see if we can get to that process. But we won't touch that until a kid fails and he's not achieving what he needs to achieve. Well, I think the most important thing is remain healthy, get strong, do the things that you need to do, in your off season in that early March and early April, and then just maintain that throughout the course of the year. And strength is a big part. You need to be in a weight room. You need to make sure you maintain your strength throughout the course of the season. I think that's really important. And the summer is probably one of your most crucial times. So many kids think that they can take the summer off, but to get to this level, to play at this level, you really got to play all the way around. And summer ball has become extremely important for guys that are moving on to that next level. So stay healthy, work hard at it, and then make sure you get yourself in at least one summer team. Most guys now are playing 2 or 3 summer teams. So that's what they should be looking to do.
Up next, head coach Nick DeGennaro gives a preview of women's softball.
Well, I think we should have a pretty good year this year. We have a lot more depth in the infield than we've had in the past. Not as much pitching as we had in the last 2 years. We really had 3 really good pitchers, which was nice. This year we're down to 2 pitchers, and one is pretty inexperienced, but we've got Melissa Knaus, who should be able to do a lot for us this year, I think. She can shoulder a lot of the innings. And I think our offensively, we should be a little bit more balanced than we've been in the past. So I expect that we should approach similar records to what we did last year. Last year we had 31 wins, which was a college record for softball. So we're hoping to eclipse that this year if we can, but we're going to have to stay healthy because we don't have a lot of pitching, we don't have a lot of catching. We're pretty inexperienced beyond our number 1 at those 2 positions. We have a couple of nice infielders that came in this year. Brooke Goldsberry from Jefferson High School was a third baseman, and she's an all-West Jersey, all-area player. We expect big things from her, both defensively and offensively this year. Jolynn Ferrari, who's, again, an all-area catcher from Newton High School. She'll be our number 1 catcher this year, and we really expect some big things from her as well. What is nice is that her sister, who's actually a sophomore here but will be a freshman on the field, Leslie Ferrari, will be playing this year in the infield as well. So that's going to give us a lot of depth and a little bit more offensive punch than we had last year. In the outfield, Mary Hocking from Waukegan Valley should do a nice job for us, I think, in center field. She really had a big fall, and we expect that she's going to have a big spring. And then, also Beth Lavasser, who will be in the outfield as well, I think can really help us out. And then we've got a couple of players that I think are going to contribute that are new this year. Kayla Mango, Jen Flegel, Allie Dorner, and Devin Shalinsky, who are all from Delaware Valley. So I think that they're all really going to chip in. Lauren Torciello, who's our number 2 catcher, I think will help out a lot as well. And Jen Flegel, who I mentioned before, is our number 2 pitcher. So those are all, we have a lot of incoming players. We've got 10 new players this year. So, it's going to be, they're going to be feeling out process for them. They all played in the fall, so they should be pretty prepared for what they're going to see. But, when we get 8 games in a week, it's a whole different world. We have 4 returning sophomores. Melissa Knaus, who will be a number 1 pitcher this year. Brianna Sherrier, who we moved to the outfield last year. She used to catch. Now she's learned to be a slapper. I think she's going to help us a lot. Kelly Costa, who's an infielder and was a really good slapper. for us last year as well. And then Brittany Duran, who was our shortstop and was probably our best player the second half of the season last year, returned as well. I think the biggest thing is you have to make it the person who's recruiting you has to feel that you want to play the game at the next level. You know, a lot of times you get people who go through the motions, or they're used to whatever their high school rhythm was or whatever. It's different at this level. There's more demands on your time, both schoolwork and things that you have to do at home, and family commitments and jobs. So I'm really looking for people that have a passion for playing and they want to improve and are coachable. And that's the big thing. I figure if we get those qualities, then everything else we can work with. In the fall, we practice 3 days a week. We play once a week, so that can get pretty intense. We try to do a lot of preparation academically in the fall as well, because in the spring you don't get as much time to work with the students on how to be successful. You know, we are, you know, Ben Master, an assistant coach and the assistant athletic director here, are our team's tutors as well. So, you know, we do a lot of preparation both academically and then just, hey, at this new level, this is how we do things, this is what we expect, you know, and a lot of things like that. So, you know, it's really just a constant work in the offseason, because you're trying to set up your players that want to play when they leave here, because a lot of other junior colleges don't do that, and that's the advantage that we have, is that we spend a lot of time trying to set them up in the right place to go to school when they leave here. So that takes a lot of time as well. I think it's 9 academic Americans since we started coaching here 7 years ago, and we always are looking to add more, and that's just a great accomplishment, I think. If you compare it to a lot of other schools, it's well above other softball programs. And this last fall, I think we had like a 3.58 GPA as a team, so that's really important, because we make sure they understand that that's going to get you a lot farther than softball is going to get you. At some point, softball is going to end, and you need to be a student, you need to have a nice degree that's going to get you a really good job. So, you know, just by making it important to the players, they understand it, and being willing to help them out whenever they need help academically, they really, I think, start to flourish. Unfortunately, with the economic conditions that we have now, you know, there are some players that may be the second income in their household, or sometimes even the first income, so that's always tough. And so when they need time off from softball, you know, hey, I can't make it to practice today, I have to work, or I have to write a paper, I have to do this, you just have to be pretty flexible with it. And we've really reinforced, you know, that being flexible doesn't mean take advantage of us, and I think that there's a respect level there. So we went to Myrtle Beach last year, and it was a great preparation for us. We had 8 games down there last year. We see some really good competition and some teams that we don't see during the year, which is nice. We also see teams that we do play during the year, and we played a couple of them last year down there, so it kind of helped us to get our feet wet. And we're actually going to play a couple of games on our way down. We're stopping off in Rappahannock, Virginia, and we're going to play a doubleheader there with a program that we kind of got a connection with a couple of years ago. So I think that by the time we get back, we'll have 14 games under our belt before we start our conference play, 16 because we actually play Mercer before we play the Division III schools. So I think it'll be a good opportunity for us to see what we have and what we need to work on, and what players are going to step up and perform for us. Well, first of all, we had the returning national champions in our region in Brookdale. They lost the most valuable player of the tournament. She's no longer with the team, and she was their pitcher, but they have another really good pitcher as well. So really, first it all starts out with Brookdale. You have to beat Brookdale, at least in the playoffs, if you want to go somewhere. Gloucester is probably the second best program in our conference, taking ourselves out of the equation, of course. They've been to nationals. I think they placed 3rd at nationals the one year that they went. They have 9 really good returning players. I think they have 17 players on their roster. So, and they're an extremely well-coached team. So between those two teams, we have our work cut out for us. And then there's other programs that always seem to get good players and are tough. Camden is always very good, and they're tough. Northampton, their coach took a leave of absence this year, so I think they might slide back a little bit, because he really is an excellent coach, and it is just impossible to replace in a program like that. But they're still going to be very good. And then, you know, you've got teams like Cumberland and Ocean who have gotten better through the years, and Bergen, who hired a new coach, so I expect that they're going to be really tough. But really, it's you got to beat Brookdale first, and then you worry about everybody else after that. We love the coverage that we get. You know, Tony and you guys really do a great job covering our games. So, and thank you for everything that you guys do. And it helps us, because people see us on TV and they realize that this is a good opportunity for them. So, and obviously with broadcasting as well.
That's all for this edition of Skybox. Thank you to our guests. We'll see you next time for sports on EDTV Channel 20. This is Maria Marino.
I chose Sussex because it was very convenient and more affordable than any other college.
Small, it's personal, you get a lot of one-on-one attention.
I was able to get a lot of really good experience and preparation for what I'm using now in my professional studies, so it was a great experience.
I feel like it's a really nice environment. I've never been in a class that was really packed.
It was the friendly atmosphere that really got me hooked on Sussex.
Start here, go anywhere!
Sussex County Community College will host a Saturday Ladies Retreat. Activate, Rejuvenate, Motivate, Saturday, April 2nd, beginning at noon. A great afternoon of seminars capped off by a delicious dinner. The nationally renowned comedian Dina Blizzard will host her One Funny Mother, I'm Not Crazy show at 7:30. Join us for Ladies Saturday Retreat, April 2nd at noon at Sussex County Community College.